Good afternoon. My name is Jen Silva. I'm from the Office of Alumni Engagement, and on behalf of our office, as well as Stonehill Athletics and the Development Office, I want to thank you all for joining us today for Coffee with the Coaches. Before we get underway, a few logistics for today's event. If you could just type your full name and the location from which you're joining us into the chat box, that will help us check you in. Also, let us know if you're an alumni, student, current parent. That will help us facilitate questions and answers. We will keep all microphones muted during the first portion of the presentation, but go ahead and type any questions that you have in the chat box and we'll get them answered towards the end. And now, without further ado, I will pass the microphone over to Assistant Director of Athletics and moderator of today's event, Doug Monson.
Thanks, Jen. Welcome, everybody. We're happy to host the women's basketball alumni, parents, fans today for our latest edition of Coffee with the Coaches. We're here with women's basketball head coach Trisha Brown, and as well as juniors Sophie Glidden and Emily Bramanti. Coach Brown is in her 20th season as head coach here at Stonehill, and is a 5-time NE10 Coach of the Year and 4-time East Region Coach of the Year. Led the Skyhawks to a 23-5 record last season, winning its final 12 games of the year, including a win over St. A's in the NE10 championship at Merckert. She's led Stonehill to nearly 400 wins, 13 NCAA tournament bids, including each of the last 3 years. So without further ado, Coach Brown.
Thanks, Doug. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I hope you have your coffee. It is Friday. We won't judge if there's other things in your coffee mug. It's been a long week, I'm sure. Have to start with Vicky Balsamo. That is the greatest picture I've ever seen. Thank you all for coming. This is going to be a really fun hour. Like Doug said, we have 2 of our rock star student athletes with us, Sophie Glidden, who is one of our juniors from Scarborough, Maine. She's a health science and psychology major, does incredibly well in the classroom. She was, I'm going to brag a little, Soph. She was invited to participate in the SHORE program last year for the summer. That's the student undergrad research experience. Unfortunately, because of COVID, she was not able to participate this summer, but hopefully in the future. And then we have her classmate and one of our recent elected captains, Emily Bermonte, from Chelmsford, Mass. Emily played at Westford Academy, which may sound familiar. Fun fact, Emily is our 3rd captain in the program from Westford Academy. She joined Asia Ewing and Sam Heislip. So really happy to have those 2 with us this morning and look forward to some good discussion.
Great, thanks, Coach. First thing I wanted to just start off with, especially with this group of alumni and herself joining us today, I wanted to announce that today Paula Sullivan was named by the NE10 as one of its 40 outstanding individuals for the conference in celebration of its 40th anniversary this year in the NE10. So obviously well-deserved for Paula. Paula, if you have any words you want to chime in or you know, and Trish, your thoughts on that.
Thank you, Doug. Very surprised because there are so many outstanding individuals. I did not know about this, but this is all about Stonehill, my players, and all the wonderful people that I worked with over my so many years that I was there. But thank you very much for letting me know.
Congratulations, Paula. I think I love that you said you're surprised, but none of us are surprised. I mean, what more can you say when a woman's name is on the court? And we like to see that every day. But certainly the success that we've had at Stonehill is a testament to what Paula created here when she started the program. And then she made the craziest decision of her life and hired me, which I thank her every day. And I buy her dinner once a month and just let me pay all the time. But just so thankful for the opportunity that I've had. Obviously, it's worked out, so I've stayed quite a while. But love to see that Paula continues to get recognized for all that she has done for not only Stonehill, but really, I think there are a few years she wore just about every hat you could wear in the NE10 office. She was the interim head of the Northeast 10 Conference when they were searching for a new head of the league. And it was amazing how seamless that she could fill those roles and still do her role here at Stonehill. It was amazing. So I've learned a lot. Obviously, you want to have great mentors in your life, and I've had a few, but Paula definitely is one of my mentors, and I continue to learn from her. So congrats, Paula.
Thank you very much, Trish, for the kind words. I just want to say, I've just seen Dean here with his gray beard, so I'm worried that you're starting to stress him out a little bit.
It's my rally beard, Paula. This is, you know, as soon as we get the vaccine shot, I'll shave it.
Dean, do I stress you out every day?
Only once a week, Trish.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great. Well, again, thanks. Congratulations, Paula. And you can check out that information on obviously the Northeast 10 website and our website. That moment, you know, we've had a few this fall recognized by the NE10, but certainly none more deserving than Paula. And we all owe her a bunch of thanks for everything she's done. But Coach, this should be, I think, opening weekend, or certainly, or, you know, in the calendar, but here we are. And it's not, unfortunately, but where are we? Obviously, actually, students are going to start heading off campus here next week for Thanksgiving, and then finals are remote. Just, I guess, take us through what the fall's been like for your team, and you know, what you guys have been able to accomplish.
Sure. I think at this time last year, we had probably played 4 games, so quite different. But, you know, yeah, I have to start by talking about Stonehill in general, and what an amazing job that the campus and Father John in particular has done in, you know, letting us return to campus, and the testing that we've been doing. Everyone here at Stonehill gets tested once a week, and the student athletes and coaches get tested twice a week. And it really, you know, we've created this bubble, and it really has kept people safe and healthy. And you know, I'm sure there was a lot of naysayers when this, you know, first was discussed, but everybody, you know, you talk about this community being special, everyone has done the right thing, including the student athletes. You know, I mean, I'm sure all of you thinking about your college experiences, and, you know, how were the undergrads going to be able to handle staying in their own dorms and really making some sacrifices and doing the right thing. And this community has done an incredible job. So here we are in November, end of November, and, you know, we're ready to finish up and head home. So that's just been amazing. So I thank Stonehill for that. In terms of what we've been able to do, again, I just can't say enough about our student athletes that were able to return. And unfortunately, not all of our players returned to campus for the semester. Stonehill has, again, you know, done it right. We started in small groups and phases. In phase 1, it was really about small group work, fundamentals, everybody at their own basket. You know, everybody wears a mask. Coaches, players. I'm sure you can imagine the coaches enjoying the fact that I am masked up, and maybe my voice doesn't carry as heartily as it would in a normal practice setting, but I've managed. And then as we phased to where we are now, and I think they call it phase 3, you know, we've been able to play live. Again, everyone has a mask, and we're very cognizant of, you know, how we enter the gym, how we exit the gym. Again, just staying really disciplined. But it's been such a great experience to be in the gym, and our student athletes have worked so hard just in the weight room, in the gym, and really getting us to, I think, where it's a great place right now. And, you know, it's, for me, you know, you reflect a lot on the things that you do as a coach and you say as a coach. So one of the things that if you've coached, you always talk about those life lessons. So the pandemic really throws those life lessons right at you. So, how much do you talk about as a coach? Control the controllables. All you former players out there are going to, laugh. Control those controllables. When adversity strikes, what do? You think about the process, not the outcome. And every day that pandemic throws that right at me and says, okay, Trish, control the controllables. And certainly all of us have had our moments of, okay, this is interesting, but we've all done a great job in terms of, just keeping it about a great process every day and that gratefulness. I think our student athletes on the call can talk about Dr. Daryl Chaffee Appleton, who's one of our alum, who's worked with our team. She presented to all of the Stonehill student athletes the other night, but she had just some great things to remind the student athletes when it does get hard and challenging, and because it is so different. But that gratefulness and putting that kind of message and thought process into your everyday. We're grateful to be in the gym. We have teams in our league that didn't return to campus. We have teams in our league that, haven't even been able to practice or are still in phase one. So we are extremely grateful for the work that we've been able to do.
Great, thanks, Coach. And our two student athletes actually today bring a couple of different perspectives. Sophie Glidden is on campus this semester, and then Emily has opted to stay remote. So a little bit, some different perspectives here from each of them. I guess Sophie, start off with you. Just what's it been like on campus? Working, getting the practices going, and from that perspective, I guess.
Yeah, no, I definitely echoing everything that Coach said. I honestly did not expect us to still be here at this time. I'm definitely so happy that we are. It's just it's so good to be back on campus with the entire team and being able to do workouts. And like Coach said, we're able to go live now. And obviously it's hard not having everyone on campus with us, but the people that we do have are definitely so happy to be able to get in and get into the gym, get shots up, play each other, and just kind of build that closeness that we have. It's definitely harder socially to get involved with everyone, but we are doing a great job staying in contact, and we still talk to people off campus, obviously, and it's hard not being around Emily and the other two we have off campus. But honestly, it's been a great semester, and it's definitely been different, but it has allowed us to kind of take a step back and really just recognize what is important and make us even more excited for hopefully our season that will start next semester.
Great, Emily, just talk about that a little bit, just trying to stay, obviously you've got your workouts and plans and stuff, how you manage that from a remote status.
Yeah, obviously it's a little bit different since I'm making my own schedule and stuff, but I get sent workouts they were doing and stuff, so I do that on my own. But like Sophie said, I get a phone call pretty much every day about how each workout went from different people every day, and usually it's numerous of them calling me and stuff. So it's really good just to stay connected through that and hearing how each workout went with all of them. And obviously it's sad to not be there with all of them, but I'm challenging them in the different things we've been doing. When we did the beep test, I was all right, listen, who's gonna beat me on this one? And just different things like that have just been really fun to stay competitive with the team.
What's the remote learning been like for you as far, academically?
It was definitely a switch up from being in the classroom and stuff, but I think I adjusted pretty well. And a lot of the classes are online for everyone too. So it's been a good adjustment.
Great. Also just wanted to remind, please do feel free to send in questions in the chat at any time. Happy to answer them as they come in, but we'll obviously have some time at the end as well, but do feel free to enter questions in the chat at any time as we move along here. So if we just take us through what's campus like right now. Obviously you're getting ready to wrap up here next week, but just outline things outside of the basketball court.
Yeah, so it's definitely very different from what a normal semester would be like, but as a team, we've still been able to stay in touch, and we're lucky to have some people that live pretty close to us. So we've been able to go to their house for outside fires and stuff like that. So we're still able to connect as a team. And I think like the campus in general is doing a great job at like doing events and stuff like that. Like they've had like stuff like food trucks coming to the quad where you can just like go and like sit with your friends on the quad, get some food. And then stuff like last night, the team went to the tree lighting. So I feel like campus is doing a good job at trying to create events where people can still get in touch and get in contact with each other, but it's definitely different and it's been a challenge adjustment to make. But I feel like everyone on campus has been doing a great job with staying positive and just knowing like what the right thing to do is.
Coach, talk about your team a little bit. You finished off last year strong, and obviously not the way you wanted to finish it with, without the NCAA tournament, but obviously it did finish on a high, 12 straight wins. And you talk about that part of the team coming back and what excites you about this group.
Would love to. So obviously we were, the disappointment of not being able to finish out the season in the NCAA tournament. That was hard, but again, the thing I talk about all the time is what an amazing experience this team was able to have in terms of being able to win the league championship in our gym, cutting down nets. Those seniors, they were such good leaders, and obviously we would have loved to see what we could have done in the NCAA tournament, but just the body of work and the celebration that we were able to have here at Stonehill was amazing. I think carrying over that whole experience, the competitive nature of the NE10 championship was such a good experience for the returners. And this team has hit the ground running again in a very challenging time. I think, starting with the summer, you have to get creative. Normally we would have seen each other at camps and we would have seen each other at our high school tournament that we run. But instead it was, socially distanced, a lot of Zoom. But what I love about this team is they've stayed so engaged and so creative. And, I have to talk about Emily. It was a really hard decision, obviously, for Emily to not return to campus. But the work that she has done as a leader, not being on campus, has been amazing. And same with Mia. Kelly has been off campus, and Annalise Demuth, who's back in Wisconsin. But, their ability to still lead, not being, right here on campus, has been so impressive. And they've been so creative in how they have challenged each other. Like Emily said, she's one of the best trash talkers we have on this team. So, every day I see her dad laughing. Her dad's the boys head coach at Westford Academy. Phenomenal, legendary coach, Chris Bermonte. But Emily's the best at challenging, and she doesn't need to be right beside you to challenge you. And she really has made an impact, that way and that creativity. So I've loved what we've seen in terms of how competitive these kids have been, how engaged they've been in just the strength and conditioning piece that, again, we are so very grateful that we've been able to get in the weight room and have that experience as well. So, we couldn't be more excited. We're certainly, this December is going to be interesting, but we've proven, over the summer and in last spring that, we can do what we need to do, not being right here on campus. So I feel great about this team and where we're headed, whatever the season may look like in January.
Talk about, to continue on that, but with Emily, obviously you just recently named your captains. Can you just talk about that group and what the decision was on with them?
Yeah, the team elected 3 captains this year. One of our seniors, Maddie Seymour, along with Emily, and one of our juniors, Bella Santoro. So they've made a great decision in that trio, and they really, their strengths really balance each other out. And we've done a lot of great work. We've had a captain Zoom once a week, and we've talked a lot about leadership and what that looks like and feels like. And they've really done a great job of understanding how to come together and work as a team in terms of their leadership. And I think all 3 of them have brought great strengths to that. And each of them, again, has played a different role. And each of them, Bella having such a tough injury last year after having such a great start to the season. But one of her strengths, I think, that the team saw a lot last year after she got injured, was her leadership from the sideline and that perspective that she brought, and her intensity still not being on the floor. I think she had great leadership. And Maddie has always been a great leader by example, and she had such a strong junior season. So it's really been nice to see her find her voice. And again, I just can't say enough about Emily and her passion for the game. And I think, she leads by example, but she's also, even just as a sophomore and a point guard, probably as a coach's kid, she has that voice that the team really respects. So they've done a great job.
Emily, what's been the secret for you to take that leadership role from your remote? Obviously, it hasn't held you back any. What's kind of been what you've tried to focus on to, continue those leadership skills that you obviously have?
Yeah, Coach had mentioned it earlier that we had really good senior leadership last year, and I think a lot of us had learned a lot from the four of them. And so I've kind of taken what they have taught me over the past 2 years and have tried to use that while being home. So it's just all about staying connected and being creative with it, that it can't always just be a text of like texting your teammate. Like having those phone calls or FaceTimes have been like so beneficial, not just for me, but I know for my teammates as well, because we're all in such a hard time that like having those conversations are really important.
You're muted, Doug.
Just your thought on being named one of the captains.
It's really nice to be recognized by my teammates, and like coaches mentioned, we have 3 great captains that were nominated, but we also have a lot of great leaders on this team, like Jenny and rest of my junior class too. So it's really exciting, and excited to get back on campus to be with everyone.
That's
Sophie,
why she's a great leader. She took the words right out of my mouth, and we, those that are on the call that have played for me before, one of the things that we always talk about is you win with your upperclassmen. So it doesn't mean that you need to have that C on your jersey. That's a hockey reference. Tony, I hope you appreciate that. That, every kid in this program needs to want to step up and be a leader. And, Jenny is she brings a different presence to us every day. She is just a joy to coach, and she understands, that she needs to lead, and that the rest of the junior class, Sophie, Kayla, Meg Hill, they all know that they need to step up and be great leaders, because you win with your upperclassmen. They have to be great leaders.
Have you relied on that group, those top 2 classes, even more so this semester with what's kind of going on?
For sure. Even when we stepped on campus, there was so much uncertainty, and I'll put the shameless, feel bad for Coach Brown plug in. So as we started the semester, I decided to get my knee replaced. Who doesn't do that? So I was out for a few weeks, beginning of September, totally trusted. Obviously, my 2 assistant coaches are so fabulous, Kara, Kelly, and Shelby Buck. I had no issue with not being here. I knew that they're running the program better than I would ever run it. But being in such a different environment, and the experience being so different, I think that we had to rely so much on Jenny and Maddie and the junior class setting a great tone, and being able to handle all that was different about our experience coming back to campus. And, they needed to all help Karen and Shelby lead, and they've obviously done a great job. Great job.
Sophie, there's obviously a number of organizations off the court and whatnot, and you're involved in a few, some of those. Talk about your role within one of the new groups in the department with the task force to address racial injustice, and kind of what that's been, how that's kind of been important to you this semester.
Yeah, so obviously, over quarantine, it was a bunch of stuff was happening. It was just really impactful, I'm sure, to everyone here. So the athletics department like just reached out and saw if anyone wanted to join the task force about racial injustice, and me and then Kayla Raymond, also on the team, decided that we wanted to join it. So it just basically, we have met once a week throughout the semester, looking at like stuff that we can do. We started off with a bunch of stuff related to voting. So we were trying to get voting registration across campus increased, and we did like a little competitive thing. And of course the basketball team won. So we were the first team to be 100% registered. And then we had, I think 11 teams follow us after that. We also had a guest speaker, Brandon Cox, come in and talk about DJ Henry's death and just his experience with that, and the Dream Fund and other stuff like related to what he's done since. And moving forward, we definitely want to have like talks with our teams and stuff about what we can do during games and just stuff like that to promote and talk about racial injustice and just kind of bring its importance in front of us, just because obviously we all love playing our games and stuff like that, but stuff like this is more important. So we just kind of want to see what we can do as athletes to increase this awareness around campus and hopefully promote positive change for everyone, as like just in general and the campus.
Great. And Coach, you're a part of those meetings as well. Just kind of, talk about, seeing a couple of your student athletes really, be a part of that, and obviously a few other student athletes as well on campus.
Right. I think that the students as a whole here at Stonehill have really found their voice, and it's been so impressive, in the way that they have gone about, challenging all of us here at Stonehill has been so impressive. And I was so proud of Sophie and Kayla for stepping right up and joining the committee. I think our athletics task force has done some really good work in terms of action for social justice, and it's the listening, the awareness, but time for action. I think one of our men's basketball players, Shamir Johnson, did a great job. He started a group on campus called One Hill. And what they have been doing is, for every Sunday, they were meeting and just having hard conversations. And I think, making people uncomfortable. We have a group here on campus now, SIA, Students in Action, and they held the sit-in that hopefully you saw on the website and on the campus website. It was one of the most powerful events I've ever been to, because it was student run and it's student voices, and they are being heard. So yeah, I'm really excited to see the work that we as a department can do as we move forward as well.
Great, thanks. A couple of questions have come in from parent Tony Spadorsha. What are the new challenges in recruiting and attracting the top tier athletes you have been successful in recruiting in the past? How have you evolved or adjusted to meet not only this year's needs, but future teams' needs as well? And what tools do you use differently, or are there new tools?
Well, that is such a fabulous question. Thank you, Tony. Again, it's a time in recruiting that you had to get creative in a hurry. And I think one of my best recruits that I have ever recruited here to Stonehill is our student, I call him our director of basketball operations. His name happens to be the same as the question asker. Joe Spadorsha is basically our director of social media. And that has made a tremendous difference in terms of, we couldn't have students on campus for a long time. So how do you get people to see Stonehill? You create amazing videos that the college has done, but Joe has been really creative in getting our recruits a sense of the campus, also getting our recruits a sense of who our team is. He's run some of the recruiting team Zooms. He also does our alumni trivia, which has been so entertaining. Thank you very much for those alum that have participated. But you have to be creative. And again, fortunately, Stonehill has allowed us this fall to bring student athletes on campus, not into buildings, but you could, on a nice day or kind of a cold day, we could at least walk them around and show them, what's here, which is amazing, and get them a little bit of a sense for our campus. But it certainly continues to be a challenge, on both ends. The students that, are looking to be recruited, there was a lot of panic going into the summer, where normally we'd be at, recruiting events and you'd see people live, and, the student athletes didn't understand how they were going to get recruited. So we got a lot of emails, a lot of film. Thankfully, I have two great assistant coaches who love to watch film. So it's been a challenge, but you pivot, as I believe Daryl said, you pivot and you use what you can to build that relationship. And that's really, that recruiting process is really about that relationship building. So again, I can't say enough about Kara and Shelby and what they've done. We also have, the NCAA granted the blanket waiver where this season, whether we play or not, student athletes can choose to have an additional year of play. So where we have, there are no decisions made about, who would return or who wants to return, that will affect our recruiting as well, but in a good way. I think that's an amazing thing that the NCAA and Stonehill is allowing, that, because of the crazy year that we're in and going to have. I think that's a really wonderful option to have available to a student athlete.
Great. Coach, question from Coach Bramanti. Would like an injury update on the knee.
Thank you very much for asking. How'd you know I had a knee replacement? The knee is great. I've been so lucky. The surgery went really well, and I've been back on campus and, walking very briskly. So all good. Thank you for your concern. I hope your wrist is healing nicely, Coach. All right. Okay. Well, that looks big. All right.
For both the student athletes, just talk about, your excitement to, obviously you guys are leaving campus here in the next, well, Sophie, you're leaving campus here the next week, but how excited you are to get back, next semester and hopefully if things can continue to go or can go well, play some games next semester.
Yeah, I think that's been a lot of our communication has been getting back out onto the court, like as our season was cut short last year, and we want to get right back to where we were. And obviously I'm not there for practicing, but like that is just all we really have been talking about, is getting right back to where we were and getting in the gym to get better every day to win those games that hopefully we'll be playing in the spring, and like through that get to the NA10 championship and then back to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, going off that too, like not being able to play games like has just been like so hard, but it honestly is like, it's gonna sound super cliche, but we've been without games for so long, and we've been practicing and doing all of that, and like we've been super competitive. All of us like just are so competitive during practice. Like we each want to win like the individual drills, and we want to, as the team drills, like we want to like have our team dominate. So like not being able to play these games over this semester and all of that have just made us all like realize how bad we do want to play. And I think that like the second that we're going to be able to get onto the court, like it's going to be like we haven't had any time, like we haven't had any break, like we just are picking up exactly where we left off last year. And we're all so excited to be competitive again with other teams, but it's just been good to be competitive with each other for now, obviously.
Coach, talk about the newcomers that you have this year, and kind of spun off of recruiting a little bit. You obviously do have a freshman class, and talk about them a little bit, and how has this unfortunate situation maybe been able to enable them to come along a little slowly and work with them a little bit more than maybe you would have in the past.
Right. We have two great first-year students with us. Jada Thornton is from Maryland, played at Gaithersburg High School, and Cam Ward is from Bound Brook, New Jersey. So, the first thing you have to compliment both of them on is their ability to, last this semester, because they both, Jada in particular, has been here since mid-August. And, as some of you may know, the school calendar changed so that we could, stay consistent and go right through. So neither really have had a chance to to go home during these, first 3 months. So remember back, I know it was a long time for some of us, that freshman year and all that a transition to a new college and a new program entails. They both have been, just rock stars in terms of their ability to acclimate quickly. In terms of their basketball, their potential is off the charts. Jada's a guard, a really athletic long guard who has a great ability to defend and get to the rim. They're both super competitive, which obviously has enhanced our practice setting right away. Cam's a small forward, is a beautiful shooter, very athletic, great rebounder. So just really excited about what both of those players can bring to the floor in January.
Great. Sophie, you've been practicing with them. Maybe your thoughts on them as well, not to exclude you, Emily, but just give your perspective on some of the newcomers this season.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they don't even seem like freshmen anymore. Like, they have done such a great job at like coming in this weird, crazy semester and just getting to know everyone on the team. And they fit in so well with us socially and on the basketball court. But they've like both done a great job, like in the practice setting, especially I'm going to like call out Cam. She's my buddy. We have like little buddies on the team. So me and Cam are buddies, and she's like done a great job, like just showing her leadership as a freshman. Like, her voice is great during practices. So I feel like neither of them are scared. Like they don't play like freshmen. They don't like communicate as freshmen. So I honestly think that they've done a great job, especially with this crazy semester.
One of the things that I'll add when, in terms of that chemistry piece that is so important to a team's success, so much of that happens organically. When you're leaving class and you come in the locker room, and those times in the locker room before and after practice, when, you're really getting to know your teammates and, you're picking them up and getting them ready for practice. None of that has been able to happen because we are not allowed in our locker rooms. The kids come to practice, they enter in one way and exit the other way and spread out their bags. And they can certainly, walk up and get food together, but the dining hall is limited in terms of, sitting with a whole team doesn't happen. Everybody going back to one person's room doesn't happen. So again, that's been the challenge of, that chemistry piece. So like Sophie mentioned, we have buddies that's your first line of, make sure you're okay and doing the right things and getting to know them. But again, I can't say enough about what the team has done. And really at times, without us, which has been really helpful. Emily and the captains running their own Zooms to make sure, people are doing well and doing what they need to do. And that's just been so helpful.
Great. I have a question from our 2020 McDonough Spirit Award recipient, Sydney Cheever. Her question is, you've had a number of great walk-ons in the program's history. Would you say in the near future class that could also be a means of top talent?
Absolutely. Sydney, how are you? Sydney working in the NBA right now, down with the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm saying the right thing, right?
Yeah, I'm still on hold. I'm supposed to be going down there in June. So a year later, here we are.
All right. Well, when she does, she's going to work for the Memphis Grizzlies. Very excited for her. Absolutely. I think that, this program has always, done very well in terms of someone who has walked onto the program. I'm staring at Kristen Strout right now, and I could tell the story about We Got Strouty. Should I tell it, Kristen? I'm gonna take a minute to tell this story because it is one of my favorite stories of all time. So Kristen Strout, I can't even remember the year that you graduated because it was, she was a freshman here when I first got the job. But Kristen had walked onto the program and ended up our team captain, I believe, for at least 1 year, maybe two. Now I feel really old. 2-year captain as a walk-on. So there you go. So here's the story about Strouty. one of my nieces was a little meeper, you know, maybe 10 years old, and she grew up in Walpole, Mass. And she ran into the Walpole High School head coach, and they ran a camp in the summer. And she said to my niece, Mackenzie, are you coming to the Walpole Rebel hoop camp this summer? And she said, no, I'm going to Stonehill's camp. And the coach said, yeah, but we have Nicole Wolf. Nicole was playing at UConn at the time. She said, we have Nicole Wolf from UConn, Mackenzie. And Mackenzie looked at her, rolled her eyes and said, oh yeah, we got Stroudy. So we have done very well with our walk-ons because we started with Stroudy. But that's a great question, Cindy. And our roster will probably be bigger, and we've already talked to a couple of student athletes about joining our program next year in a walk-on capacity. And so we're excited about their potential.
Great. A little bit of a setup there for this next question. Coach, a number of former players have gone on in our coaching right now, certainly college level, high school level. Talk about, you know, just kind of that pride in having so many former players of Paula's, of yours, of Kelly Hart, who have gone on and continue to you know, have an impact on the game and the younger players.
Absolutely, and I hope I can talk about all of them. If I forget, Paula, you can jump in. But I think just in terms of former players coaching at the high school level, Krista McDonald is the first one that comes to mind, who coached at Braintree High School and won 4 state titles. 4 state titles. I mean, people dream of 1, and she won 4, and now is the head boys coach at Norwood High, my alma mater. It got a little dark. So Kristen continues to be such a successful high school coach. You have Cheryl Tebow Seavey, who's right down the road at Bridgewater Raynham. We've had a number of Bridgewater Raynham grads have great success in our program. I believe Cheryl's program was just touted as one of the top high school programs in the country. One of her big stars just committed to Duke. So Cheryl's done a great job with that program. Caitlin Leonard is the Swampscott head coach. You have Julie Stockwell Luterno, who's down at Bishop Stang now as the head coach. Jill Minimus was at Methuen. Laura DeSenza is a high school coach in Connecticut. I gotta thank Laura, brings her teams to our games at Southern Connecticut and New Haven every year. So we have just a great crowd that's at the high school level. And then, you know, in terms of what the assistant coaches here have been able to do, and again, if you hear someone speak about their success in any profession, they'll say, surround yourself with great people. And I have been so fortunate to have some great assistant coaches. We have Kelly Thompson has had a great career as the head coach down at Roger Williams. Meg Methvin and Catherine Cassidy, I think I may have seen their names. I think I may have seen Catherine. They both coached together here for 1 year, but they're both up at the University of Albany. Meg, being an alum, Meg is the associate head coach at Albany. So we're going to see some great things from the Great Danes. I think they just went there together because they got to wear purple again. But because you look so good, Catherine, those eyes in the purple, just stunning. Catherine Cassidy, just newly engaged, so very excited for her. You have Jackie Smith, who is our assistant, is the head coach at Connecticut College now. Also, Whitney Edwards was our assistant here, and Whitney just became the new head coach at St. Rose College, which is in our conference. So again, just some super talented assistant coaches that are doing some great things. So we've been very, very lucky. Did I forget anybody? You're on mute, Paula.
I was going to say Bill Gould, who now is at Emerson.
Bill Gould, head coach at Emerson. He's done a great job there. Yeah, so very, very lucky.
A couple of comments from alum Tania Williams. She just wanted to say she loved that the athletes are going to get the option to stay an extra year. College experience is irreplaceable, so them being able to experience that is fully amazing. And then a question, with all the craziness going on, have you been able to utilize outside practice players? She said when she was there in 08 to 12, they were lucky enough to have some of the guys practice team come in scrimmage.
Unfortunately, you know, with the times that they are, we haven't been able to utilize any outside practice players, but honestly, we haven't needed them. This team is doing exactly what they need to do for where we're at right now. So, but it is a good option.
Also, a comment from Lucy Bramanti. It is not inappropriate for you to say that you're proud of your granddaughter. So Emily, just a message from your grandmother on here today. We're obviously glad to have her as well, and proud of everyone, I think is what she was about to say as well. So
now that is one heck of a hype squad right there. Nothing for me, Grammy? Come on.
Yeah, I guess at this time, I obviously open up if there's anybody else has any more questions, feel free to open up your mic. You want to tell a story, whatever you want to do it for the last couple of minutes here we have.
Trish, this is Paula. I was wondering what your schedule looks like. I know it's very fluid, but as of this minute on this day, what does your 2021 schedule look like?
Great question, Paula. So we will be starting our season in January. I see Dean chuckling right now. He's like, what is she going to say? So there had been a schedule developed. And the schedule that we're looking at now today that hopefully gets approval from the presidents would be probably a January 15th start. So what we're going to do is we will play our side of the conference only. And so we will play the teams on our side 3 times. There is talk of, kind of what some of the other leagues are going to do in terms of keeping us in little mini bubbles is you'll play the same opponent. So in 1 week, we may play the same opponent that Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, hence keeping that bubble, which I think is very smart. And yeah, hopefully a 15 to 18 game regular season, and we will have an NE10 championship. And the NCAA has also already talked about dates for an NCAA regional. That would be at a predetermined site, which obviously is not normally the case. So right now, that's what we're looking at. And Stonehill will, they'll allow us to come back right after the Christmas break. Normally, in a normal year, you have a dead period at Division II where you take 7 days off around the Christmas holiday. So right after that would be over, Stonehill will bring back men's and women's basketball and probably ice hockey. Obviously following all the protocol in terms of onboard testing and quarantining till everybody's set. And then we're off to the races. I'm not sure if they're going to allow you to be in your beautiful seat up at the top of the bleachers, but I'm sure we will be live streaming everything. So you can still, get your comments and weigh in on, your coaching and what I need to do better. Not you, Paula, you never do that. Just looking at the crowd. Again, some of my family's on, so I'm sure that, they always have good input.
Anyone else with any more questions? I guess I would be remiss. Our alum Caitlin O'Malley is on today. I don't know, she's not physically on, but she's at least listening in. I just wanted to obviously shout out some exciting family news for her with her sister. A part of the Biden-Harris campaign has just been named Deputy Chief of Staff for Joe Biden. So congratulations on that news as well.
I'll be taking requests, anything you need, special, just give me some money and I'll try to get a good word up to the administration. I kid, I don't know anything. But my kids did ask me to, I said, who do you want to FaceTime? Because we're calling family and whatever. And they said, let's FaceTime Joe Biden. They're 3 and 5. So that's where our house is at.
Although Caitlin is not coaching now, she was an assistant coach here for a couple of years, but is working with athletics down at Providence College, has been a superstar for the academic services and athletic departments down at Providence. They won't let her go.
I proudly started my academic career in study hall in Kelly Hart's closet, and look at me now. Everyone can make it, folks.
That song, Isn't It Ironic, just keeps playing in my head. I did. My first office, I took Kelly's office and there was a little hallway with a desk. I'm like, that's really unusual. What exactly is that? And Paula let me know that was Caitlin O'Malley's special desk. Come a long way. Come on, no more questions?
Anyone else? Well, I guess I do want to say thank you, everybody, for joining. I am going to turn it over real quick to Lisa Richards to talk about some of our other alumni events going on. And, obviously, thank you again for joining us for this Coffee with the Coaches today. And we have 2 more next month. Chris Kraus, men's basketball, December 4th. And then our men's ice hockey head coach, David Borges, will be joining us on December 18th. That'll round out the semester, and then we'll look at potentially doing some more next semester. So thanks again, and I'll turn it over to you, Lisa.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Trish and Emily, for joining us today. And Sophie, we enjoyed hearing from all of you. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. So we, in our office, we had wanted to find some great ways to support our student athletes this semester, even though none of our teams are competing, but we wanted to find ways to support our student athletes. So we came up with our Go Hill Challenge, which we are in the midst of. It has already started and runs through December 1st, which is Giving Tuesday. And it is our hope that our fans of Stonehill Athletics will make a gift to one of our athletic teams. You can support any of the teams. Obviously, with this crowd, we hope that your support will go towards women's basketball. The concept was to virtually fill W.B. Mason Stadium. In your heads, you can virtually fill Merker Gymnasium. And as Trish said, hope to be back there soon. But the idea is if you'd like to make a gift this semester to support the women's basketball program, we have a great website that's kind of charting along the gifts that are coming in for each team. And as you know, our student athletes we heard from today, Sophie and Emily and the whole team, they benefit so greatly from your support. So just a great way to show them that we're all cheering for them. They've worked really hard this semester. They're planning for next semester. And any support you can show them would be wonderful. So this is our website, stonehillalumni.org/GoHillChallenge. We'll send it out afterwards if anyone wants to take a look through, and you can show your support for women's basketball. Thanks.
Thank you all for coming on today. It was great to see you, and look forward to seeing you in person at some time in the future, but can never thank you enough for all your support for our student athletes and our program. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving.